Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. How are you doing today? And how much fun did you have yesterday? I loved sort of challenging myself to do things that would actually be joyful, which is such a funny thing because it shouldn't really be that hard. But I was like, oh, I want to stop at a forest preserve on my way home. And so I just typed in forest preserve, right? And so where I stopped, we don't have a lot of great forest around here. I mean, they're not. It is what it is. But it took me to like a forest preserve slash prairie thing, and it was so fun because I was like, and if I was doing this from total presence and like didn't have to be like, well, there's not enough trees here, and could just like watch the butterflies and the bugs and the way that like the prairie grass moved in the wind, and like I took, it wasn't even, it was maybe 10 minutes to just be really really present with the nature. And it was hot, and the sun was kind of like beaming down, and I was like, and what if it's all a gift, and like how much like presence can we have and be with the things everywhere, like with the molecules and the elementals and like all of that energy. And that is what brings joy for me. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And what a strange assignment for day one of creating money is go do something that brings you joy. And if you didn't do it yesterday, do it today. Do it every day. What if you took, you know, Gary and Dane say take 1 day a week and 1 hour a day to do something just for you, like always. And that is something that I've been like, yeah. I mean, I have joy in my life, but that I've never like really purposefully taken time to do something that is just joyful for me. So that is part of the challenge this week that I'm gathering, is continuing to do something that brings you joy every day, not just on day one. Yesterday it was almost so that you would have your ask, choose what you were choosing, and then kind of let it go and not get like stuck in it and like ruminate over it and overthink it and like do the intensity thing we talked about. And if you're just joining me today for the first time in this 5-day challenge, go back and listen to yesterday before you do anything with today. It will be exponentially easier and probably more fun. If you're just diving in today, and if you start here, you're gonna miss a piece. And how much fun can we have today? So I know yesterday I was like, I promise we'll get to the thing. We will ultimately, hold on, I gotta turn my do not disturb on. That's gonna, every time somebody texts me, it's distracting me. Okay. So today, I was like, yesterday I was like, okay, we'll get to the thing. We'll get to the how to we create the money. But today, let's actually get to that. So, okay, first of all, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. Every time we start talking about money, I get this sense of everybody doing this intensity thing or this like heaviness in their world. None of that belongs to you. Like all of the stuff that comes up around money, all of the tightness in your chest or in your stomach, or like this heaviness, or the almost like the need to check out, like where you kind of like stop listening or you start doing something else or you start to fall asleep. All of that is unconsciousness around money, and it's not yours. So can we return all of that to sender with consciousness? Whew. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. So let's start there. If you were going to have a non-reality reality with money, I know that doesn't make sense. What does that look like for you? What does that be like for you? And if you weren't plagiarizing your reality with money, if you weren't going into anybody else's world, if you weren't looking to the way your parents did money, or your best friend does money, or people you see all over social media are doing money, wow. If you weren't plagiarizing anybody else's reality with money, what if you could have a reality with money that is undefined? That is not a formula. That is not something that somebody else can give you. And it's not a 10-step program. What if you got to have your undefined reality with money? everything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion, can we destroy it and create it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, void, povads, and beyonds. Do you guys get the difference that when we started talking, the energy went like this, and that as we start to clear out stuff, we get space? That's because none of that was yours. And when we get that as humanoids, we're really fucking different. Most of us are also X-Men, which means you're really fucking different. If you're like, what the fuck's an X-Men? Go to my website, drmelissamann.com/X-Men. And allow yourself to be the space that you know is possible with money beyond what anybody else is choosing. Cool. Okay, we're from space. Let's play with those. Okay. So, what can you do now, today, to create the money you're asking for? So figure out how much. We chose a thing yesterday, right? We chose what we were going to like have as our ask to create the money for this week. So know how much you're asking for in the first place, and get that it may not show up in the form of money. It may show up in the form of something else, a discount, a gift, or something else, but also know how much money that you're asking for. Okay. So this is where we start to look logically at what can you do today and the rest of the week to create the money. So this isn't necessarily from your normal paycheck. And if some of it comes from that because you had extra, whatever, fine. But this isn't like, well, yeah, I get paid on Friday. I mean, that's fine, but that's not this. This is about creating beyond so that you have the extra money, the money for this thing that you're asking for. Whew. So, what is it that you could do? And what action can you take? And this, I talk a lot about doing versus action, because we tend to do this like do thing where it's like, I gotta do. And also, if we do nothing, often nothing gets created because we actually shut off the energy and we're like, nope, I'm not doing anything. The money will just show up. And that's also not an invitation. So it's this like, what action can I take with barriers down that would create the money? So this might be, for starters, these are some ideas, but what I'd really like you to do today is start looking in your world. But I want to give you a few ideas, because if you're like, I don't know, this just kind of gives you like a space to look from. So what could you sell? What do you have laying around your house that you're not using? Is it clothes that you could take to a consignment shop? Could you put them on Facebook Marketplace? Do you have old baby things? Maybe that's something that people buy really quickly. Do you have other things laying around that are like kitchen appliances, just things you're not using that you could ultimately put up? It would take as much as taking a picture and putting it on Facebook Marketplace and letting people come pick it up at your door and leave you the however much money under your mat. I mean, these are really simple things that can create money. And a lot of times, at least what I do, is I'll be like, well, it's $10. Like, why? But if you did it for a day and you found everything in your house that was $10, you might make $100 or $200, like as if by magic. Like, it would be so much ease, but it's like sometimes I won't choose it because it just is like, oh, I don't want to take the picture and put the thing up. And it doesn't actually take more than a couple of minutes, and usually it's really quick. So that's one idea, right? And if you're like, I hate that, cool, lots of other ideas. What service can you offer? People are generally looking for somebody to walk their dog. People are looking for somebody to house sit. People are looking for somebody to just do little stuff around their house. A lot of times elderly people are looking for somebody to set up their computer or their TV for them. Something that seems so simple to you. So if you go on websites like Fiverr, or even just post in like your local, like Nextdoor, if you have that app. So that's like people near you. And you can get the app, it's free if you don't have it. And you can also do this in any Facebook groups or whatever else. Say like, hey, I have, a couple hours this week to dedicate to, I'm trying to make some extra money. Does anybody have anything they need done around their house? blah, blah, blah. Sometimes people want somebody to paint a room for them. These are things that are so simple that like you don't even think about it, that other people either don't have the time to do, don't want to do, or are elderly and don't have the physical capability to do, that for you would probably be really easy. So that's something else. So start to look at like, what could you do that would give you some extra money, that would maybe be $100 here, $50 here, $100 here, $20 here. But like, you start to invite money into your life when you start to ask, not from desperation, not from, oh my God, I need to pay this bill right now, but from a space of like, hey, I'd really like to make some extra money. What can I choose? I have a friend, now this may or may not work in your area, but I have a friend who would go on Craigslist and find things that were essentially free. People were just trying to like get rid of a TV or trying to get rid of something, and she'd go pick it up and then would post it on Facebook Marketplace and sell it and make money. So there's a lot of times that people are giving away free things because they don't, and I don't buy it and sell it or like get it for free and then sell it on the same platform. Like that's not going to be looked kindly on. But if you pick up something from one platform and sell it on another, it's easy, but people don't often want to take the time to sell something. They'd rather be like, here, it's free. And then you can go ahead and sell it and make 20, 30, 50, whatever on that. So those are some things. What else? What else do you know how to do that you're not acknowledging? Do you run bars? Can you post somewhere that, hey, you're running a special on bars? And even if it's just a little discount from what you would normally do, or even if it's not at a discount, you say it's at a discount. Simone used to talk about, the way to sell something would be, if you want to sell something for $500, don't write $500 on it. Write $800, cross it off, and say on sale for $500. You'll still sell it, and faster, because people think they're getting a deal. So be willing to kind of play with that. And anywhere you've made that wrong, can we destroy and create that? Whew, I'm good, bad, pot, pot, all lane shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Whew, yeah. So what services do you offer? Do you offer bars? Do you offer Access Body Processes, facelift? Do you offer other things? Massage, Reiki? What else do you offer? What else do you do that you could, post somewhere like, hey, special this week to just pull more people right now? Or if you create an energy of scarcity, like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm taking 10 new clients on in the next, 5 days at a discounted rate, but I can only take 10. And do you do life coaching? Do you do something else that, you can kind of drum up more people just by doing a couple posts of like, hey, I'm running this thing right now. I've done here and there where I'll do half price on SOP sessions, and that's like when like tons of people come in for SOP. So like, what can you do? What capacity do you have that you have not acknowledged? What have you made so easy that you won't choose? Or what have you decided won't create enough money because it won't create $1,000 right now that you won't choose it? If you would choose it, would easily add up to $1,000 or whatever else you're asking for, if you would choose it and be willing to have it and be it. Whew, so everything this brings up or lets down, we destroy it and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pock, all lane shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Can you make somebody dinner? Can you bake something for somebody? Does somebody have something coming up that they need to bake 7 things for and they don't have time to do it? Can you offer? So like, where are some of these other like less linear things? Do you like to organize or clean? There are people like me who hate organizing and cleaning that I will happily pay somebody to organize shit for me because I suck at it. Find those people, post it, be like, hey, running a special this week, or like introductory blah, blah, blah. And people will contact you and reach out to people. So that's the first thing. Post things. Tell people, what are you doing to create money? And next thing is reach out to people. And when you reach out to people, say, hey, I'm offering this thing this week. Do you know anybody who would be interested? And it's a great way to like indirectly ask people, because if you're like, hey, I'm doing this service, do you want it? Most people are like, because it's like too much energy to them, but it has like a push energy. But if you're like, hey, I'm offering, these private sessions, do you know anybody who would be interested? It just sort of expands that. And they might be like, yeah, me. Or they might be like, yeah, my best friend or my coworker or somebody else would probably really love that. I'll ask them if they're interested, or, here's their information or something like that. So you have lots of things that you could do to create money right now that you haven't looked at. So actually start to look at that. Who can you call? Who can you connect to this week? Who can you just have a conversation with of like, hey, I'm doing this weird challenge thing. Because they say, what's up with you? What do you have going on? And be like, oh, I'm doing this challenge thing where I'm like creating X amount of money for this thing this week. Any ideas? Maybe that person would be like, oh my God, I totally know somebody who would blah, blah, blah. Or maybe they'd be like, oh, hey, I'll give you $100. Who knows, right? So part of it is the action, right? So that's the big thing we're talking about today. And part of it is the willingness to receive it. So when somebody's like, oh, yeah, I know this person, or yeah, hey, I'll contribute to that, or they're like offering you something that isn't linear. So it isn't necessarily money, but it's something else that contributes to your life, your body, your being. Be willing to receive that too. What most of us do is we go into the space of like, oh, I'm trying to create X amount of money. And then when somebody is like, oh, well, hey, you want to have dinner on Tuesday? You're like, no. But they're like, well, no, it's on me. And you like won't receive that. It still sort of cuts off this energy of receiving, where if you were willing to have that and allow that in your world, even if it's not the money that shows up for this, it's not linear. You have no idea what that dinner might create. And it may just create more joy for you and the energy of receiving. And to that point, even if they don't offer to pay, would it actually just be fun for you and contribute to go have dinner anyways? So this isn't a week of create the money for this thing and don't spend any money, only create money. So everywhere you've made it that, can we just try and create it? I'm good, bad, pod, poc, all night, shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Have fun. If there's money to be spent because you want to go out to dinner, or you want to go get a massage or a facial or whatever, do it. Assuming that you're not going to put yourself like in the hole for it. But don't feel like you can't spend money when you're also creating money. It is a simultaneity of gifting and receiving with the universe. It isn't, I gotta make the money, gotta make the money, can't spend the money. Do you see how linear that is and what a give and take that is? Which is not at all the same energy of the gifting and receiving that you can have with this. So everywhere you start to go into a beyond, and you're like, but I don't have time for that. I don't know how to create that. I don't want to contact people. We destroy and create all of your resistance and reaction and all of the povats around this. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all night, shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So start with just because I see everybody's going like this. Make a list. Who could I call? What can I provide? What have I not been willing to know that I can provide? So something so easy. I'm really good at painting rooms. I don't do it very often, but I can paint, a room rather well and it'll look good. Like you don't see streaks or anything weird. I guess not everybody can do that. And and I only know that because I've had other people paint with me and been like, I have to redo this. It's a simple way to make money. Now, granted, it's going to take some time. So you look at your life and like, where do you have the time? Where do you have the space? And what could you do to create the money that is as simple as like selling something that you already have that's just ease? Whew. Cool. So start to play with this today. See what comes up for you. Pod and poc, every time you have some distractor implant of doubt, of fear, of, it's more irritation, but we'll call it anger for a distractor implant. But anytime that comes up, you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. And you're like, or you just sort of like put it out of your mind. And so it's like, oh, well, this is fun to listen to. Maybe someday I'll actually take these steps. Will you destroy and create that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. What would you have to choose different today to be willing to actually do this? To actually create the money for whatever it is you'd like to have. And to know that you can and that you are potent and powerful and you are absolutely capable of creating the money. It's fascinating when people tell me that they can't afford things that are, under $100. And it's like, it would take you so little time to create that money if you were willing to create it. But what most of us do is we spend our lives kind of from our paycheck or what our like typical week of income is, even if you don't get a paycheck and you're in business on your own. but you sort of have this amount of money to spend. And then it's like, well, somebody offers you something outside of what you have budgeted. I said that weird. And you're like, nope, that's not in the budget. I can't do that. Rather than like, man, it would take you, 20 minutes to sell something for $100 to go. Or, there were all these things that you could do relatively quickly. Add one extra client this week. Be willing to, something that I've done for years that I'm getting is like time again, as I was doing life coaching when I first like started a business, basically before I got into Access. Even that's how I found Access, is when I had a life coaching business, and I still have it, I guess, but I almost never take coaching clients anymore because I started doing therapy out on my own, and so that business is so big, and then everything I'm doing with Access. And I get that, like, if I would just reach out to potential coaching clients again, that would be extra money in my pocket with total ease, with something I do anyways. It's just I don't take insurance for coaching. And so, I mean, that's a simple thing. And the willingness to have that and be that. And there's websites for this stuff, guys. So if you're like, what? I mean, there's Fiverr. You can play on there, see what people are needing, what people are looking for. There's others, and I can't think of it for the life of me what the rest of them are. But man, if you guys know some websites that like you just go on and like people kind of have like jobs, whether it's like graphics or they're looking for copy, you can write for people who just don't have the time or feel like writing for themselves as like a ghostwriter. You can do all sorts of things that come up on Fiverr, but there's other apps like that and other websites. So if you're aware of other ones, if you would love to post them in here, that would be great, just for people to see that there's lots of them. I just, for the life of me, can't think of them right now. And the thing I use a lot for coaching is called Bark. And you have to like pay like upfront to like contact people. So like, I mean, obviously only if that's like for you, but, for a while there when I was just doing coaching at bark.com, like a dog barks. And I mean, I would pay like $60 for like to contact 8 people, but if one of those people booked for $2,000, I mean, it was well worth it. So, I mean, those are other things, and there's lots of those. So maybe even if you spend half an hour researching like websites to find people who are looking for coaching and or graphics and or copy and or website design, whatever else you do that you kind of haven't really allowed yourself to know that you're actually really good at, or that you can create with ease. Most of the things that people will pay you for are the things that you think are so easy that anybody could do them. So please acknowledge that. Look through all the things that you actually can do with ease, that's fun for you, that would take you less time than most people, that you just don't think anything of. That if you would put that out into the world, that people would hire you and give you the money for. So that is your assignment for today. Play with this. Start taking action. And we'll talk about tomorrow, like where we kind of get stopped up, or like where we get stuck in the story, and a lot of like acknowledgement of what you create today already. And even if you create $5 today, acknowledge that. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. But I'd really love you to just start playing in this today of what actions can you actually take and do them. I mean, that's the second half of this, right? Is like, look at like, what are the things you could do, and then do them. And if you do them today or you do them tomorrow, I don't care, but do them, and don't put off till tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then the week's over, and then you didn't do it. Then you're like, oh, well, she's not talking anymore. The 5-day challenge is over. I'm just not going to do that. And that's what a lot of us do. That's what I've done tons when I like listen to challenges, but I don't really do the challenge. So what if you chose something different? What if you actually took action and looked at where you can create the money today and had fun with it? And anywhere you go into like anything but fun and joy, pot and pock, pot and pock, pot and pock. Don't let yourself go into that space. Just it comes up and you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is too hard. This isn't working. Pot and pock. Everything that is. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Like we talked about yesterday, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Use it. I know you know it. Use it 10 times kind of throughout the day, honestly. Like you can start your day like that, but anytime you go into like a bleh, like mood, like that funk of like, I don't wanna. With anything, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Do it 10 times. Your mood will shift and change, and you will invite more money in because you're inviting more joy in. Whew, okay, so that's what I have for you guys today. I'm so curious what you come up with. I'm gonna do this along with you and see what I can come up with too. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And please, if you have some great idea, something pops, you find a cool website, post it in here because other people would love to have that too. And if you have any just like insights, questions, etc., same thing. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.